up! Right there, don't move. You match a suspect and are breaking up the street.
Sir, this is my car. I just got home.
I said don't move! Turn around! What's in your pockets?
Nothing, just my wallet and keys. I'm not sure.
Quit talking! You look just like him. Dark sweatshirt, jeans, same build.
I live here,
You
sir,
tell me, where were you 10 minutes ago?
Don't play games.
Before the story begins, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story so more people can hear it. Now, let's begin. The street was quiet. Too quiet. It was the kind of quiet that makes your skin feel tight, like something bad is hiding in the air. Cars were parked neatly along Maple Ridge Avenue, a clean, peaceful neighborhood on the edge of Atlanta. Trees moved softly in the wind. Birds made little noises in the branches. And then, a police cruiser stopped in the middle of the road with a sharp screech. Nobody knew it yet, but the next few minutes would change everything for the people living there. The car door slammed open. A tall, pale-skinned officer stepped out, his face twisted with anger, even though nothing had happened yet. His name was Deputy Travis Cole. He wasn't new. He wasn't confused. He wasn't having a bad day. This was who he was. Across the street, walking home with a small brown grocery bag, was Jordan Miles, a calm, gentle black man in his early 30s. He worked as a firefighter, a real hero to many people in the city. Though nobody looking at him now would know he had saved more lives than anyone on that street. Jordan didn't notice the officer at first. He was too busy humming a little tune, thinking about the cereal he bought for his younger sister, Mila. But the moment Deputy Travis saw him, his chest tightened with anger. As if Jordan's skin color was some kind of crime, he marched across the street fast, his boots hitting the ground hard. "Hey," the officer shouted. Jordan turned slowly, confused. "Sir? You talking to me?" "Don't play dumb," the officer snapped. "What are you doing here?" Jordan blinked. "Walking home." "With groceries?" The deputy said in a mocking tone, eyes narrowing. "Yeah," Jordan said softly. "I live 2 houses down." The deputy stepped closer, his face hard and mean. "You expect me to believe that?" Jordan raised his hands a little out of caution. "I'm not trying to start anything. I just want to go home." But the officer wasn't listening. He wasn't thinking. He wasn't even trying to understand. Because in that moment, the hate inside him took over. He leaned forward until his face was inches from Jordan's. "Go back to Africa," Deputy Travis said, slow and loud. The grocery bag slipped from Jordan's hands. A box of cereal hit the ground. An apple rolled away across the sidewalk. The whole street felt like it stopped breathing. Jordan's jaw tightened, not in anger, not in fear, but in heartbreak. People had spat things at him before. But this hit differently. He was a firefighter, a rescuer, a protector. He risked his life for strangers. He saved children from burning houses. He pulled families from flipped cars. He fought flames bigger than trucks. And still, this man saw him as nothing. Jordan finally spoke, voice steady but heavy. "Sir, that's not okay." The deputy laughed. "You don't tell me what's okay. I tell you. Now let me see your ID before I drag you in for trespassing." Jordan didn't move, not because he was stubborn, but because he knew exactly what would happen the moment he reached into his pocket. Too many stories. Too many tragedies. Too many I thought he had a weapon. Without thinking, Deputy Travis shoved Jordan back hard. Jordan stumbled and hit the sidewalk, scraping his elbow. From inside the houses, people peered out from their windows. Curtains lifted. Front doors cracked open. Phones began recording. A woman whispered, "Oh no, not again." But everything changed when a deep voice boomed from behind the officer. "What do you think you're doing to my lieutenant?" The officer froze. Jordan slowly lifted his head, and the recording neighbors gasped out loud. Standing behind Deputy Travis was Fire Chief Raymond Booker, still in uniform, still smelling faintly of smoke from the fire Jordan had fought earlier that morning. And in that moment, Deputy Travis realized he had just made the biggest mistake of his career. Deputy Travis stood stiff like someone had poured ice water down his back. He didn't turn around at first. He didn't want to. He already knew the voice. Everyone in the county knew it. It was deep, it was loud, and it always meant business. Chief Raymond Booker, wasn't just the head of the fire department. He was a legend. Some people joked he had smoke instead of blood. Others said he could run into a burning building without blinking. But the most important thing, he loved and protected his firefighters like family. And Jordan wasn't just his worker. Jordan was the heart of his whole team. Slowly, very slowly, Deputy Travis turned. Chief Booker stood tall, arms crossed, thick fire jacket still half-zipped, dark skin shining with sweat from fighting a fire just an hour earlier, his helmet tucked under one arm, his walkie still buzzing softly. But all anyone could see was the anger in his eyes. "What," the chief said again, voice shaking the air, "are you doing to my lieutenant?" Jordan swallowed hard. He had never seen Chief Booker this angry. Not at fires, not at disasters, not even at budget meetings where the mayor tried to cut their funding. This was different. Deputy Travis cleared his throat. This man was careful, Chief Booker said, taking a firm step forward. "Choose the next words out of your mouth very carefully." The deputy's jaw tightened. "He looked suspicious," he muttered, "walking around where he shouldn't be." Chief Booker raised an eyebrow. Suspicious? For having groceries. He wasn't cooperating, Travis snapped, and he refused to show ID. Jordan spoke quietly. "Chief, he told me to go back to Africa." The neighbors who had been filming gasped loud enough to fill the entire street. Chief Booker's face changed. It wasn't shock. It wasn't confusion. It was something colder, sharper, like a storm cloud suddenly forming. "You said what to him?" the chief asked, voice dropping low. The deputy looked around, realizing half the neighborhood had its cameras aimed at him. He stuttered. "I didn't. He's lying." Jordan didn't say anything else. He didn't need to, because right then, a lady from across the street stepped out, holding her phone up high like a trophy. "I got the whole thing recorded," she said. "He told that man to go back to Africa." Clear as day. Another neighbor said, "I recorded it too." A man added, "Same here." 3 people, 4 people, 6 phones, all pointed at Deputy Travis. His face slowly drained of color. Chief Booker didn't have to say a word for the deputy to understand the size of the trouble he had just walked into. But the chief did speak, and every word felt like a hammer hitting metal. "You put your hands on a firefighter in my department," he said. "You shoved a man carrying groceries. You held him like a criminal for walking home. And on top of all that," he stepped closer until their noses were almost touching, "you insulted him in front of an entire neighborhood." Travis tried to speak. "I was doing my job." The chief cut him off. "No, you're doing something else entirely." Jordan slowly got to his feet. His elbow was scraped, and his shirt had a dirt line across it, but he stood tall. Chief Booker asked gently, "Jordan, you okay?" Jordan nodded. "I'm fine, Chief. Just tired." The chief turned back to the deputy. "You know who this man is?" he asked. Travis blinked. "How would I know? This is Lieutenant Jordan Miles," the chief said proudly. "He's the man who carried 2 children out of the burning school on Pine Street last year." Murmurs rose from the neighbors. "He's also the man who saved 3 officers in that highway car fire 2 years back," the chief continued. "Pulled them out with his bare hands while your whole department stood behind caution tape. 3 officers from Travis' very own department." The deputy's mouth opened slightly. He remembered that story. Everyone did. "The man you told to go back to Africa," Chief Booker said, voice shaking with disgust, "has risked his life more times than you've risked a ticket. He's saved more people than you've ever spoken kindly to. And he's earned more respect than you could ever touch." The silence on the street was heavy, thick, unavoidable. A child from across the street whispered to his mom, "Mommy, why did the policeman do that?" The mom pulled him close. "I don't know, baby. Some people forget what kindness looks like." Deputy Travis straightened his belt and tried to regain control. "Look," he said sharply, "I don't care who he is. He didn't follow my orders." "Orders?" the chief said. "You barked at him like he was some kind of animal." "I can talk however I want," the deputy yelled back. I'm the law here. Chief Booker stepped forward again. No, he said calmly. Today, you're the problem. Travis' face twisted with rage. His eyes flicked to Jordan. You think you're something special because your boss came running? Jordan didn't answer. He didn't have to, because at that exact moment, two more unmarked SUVs turned the corner and rolled quietly up the street. Their doors opened, and when Jordan saw who stepped out, his heart dropped into his stomach. Everything was about to explode. The two unmarked SUVs didn't enter the street loudly. They didn't race in with sirens or flashing lights. They rolled in slow, quiet, controlled. That kind of quiet you only hear from people who don't need to prove anything. Deputy Travis stopped talking. His eyes twitched toward the vehicles, confused. Chief Booker didn't move. Jordan held his breath. The first SUV door opened. Out stepped Captain Maria Sanders, one of the toughest, sharpest, most respected fire investigators in the entire state. She was short, strong, and smart in a way that scared even grown men twice her size. The second SUV door opened. Out stepped Deputy Commissioner Will Harris, a tall, serious-looking man in a dark suit. Everyone in law enforcement knew his face. Everyone. But the one who mattered the most was the man who got out last. State Fire Marshal Julian Cross, the highest-ranking fire official in the state. The man almost everyone called the Hammer, because when he showed up, somebody's career was about to break. Jordan blinked in disbelief. Why are they here? Chief Booker leaned toward him. I called them. The moment I saw Travis put hands on you. Jordan stared. But that was only a minute ago. The chief gave a small shrug. I told you, when someone messes with my people, word travels fast. Deputy Travis suddenly felt sweat forming under his uniform. Not just because more officials had arrived, but because every single one of them walked straight toward Jordan, not him. The fire marshal stopped right in front of Jordan, eyes full of concern. Lieutenant Miles, he said softly, are you hurt? Jordan shook his head. Nothing serious. Marshal Cross looked him over anyway, his expression darkening when he saw the scrape on Jordan's elbow and the dirt on his shirt. What happened? He asked. Before Jordan could speak, Chief Booker stepped forward. This deputy harassed him. Racial comments. Physical shove. Accused him of trespassing on his own street. Travis pointed angrily. That's not true. He refused my orders. Marshal Cross turned slowly to the deputy. And what order was that? I told him to show ID. Travis snapped. He didn't obey. You demanded ID from a citizen carrying groceries, the marshal replied calmly. In front of his own house? Travis hesitated. His eyes darted around the street. The neighbors, at least 15 of them, were still filming. Phones everywhere. Kids peeking out of windows, mothers shaking their heads. Captain Maria Sanders stepped closer, her arms crossed. I heard there was a racial insult, she said quietly. Is that correct? Jordan didn't want drama. He didn't want to ruin anyone's job. So he started gently. He told me to. But he didn't finish. Because a woman from the porch shouted loudly. He told him to go back to Africa. Say the whole thing. Another man added. He shoved him. Hard. A teenage girl yelled. I got the whole thing live on TikTok. The fire marshal's jaw tightened. Captain Sanders turned to Travis. Did you say that? Travis glared at the crowd. They're lying. They don't know what they saw. Deputy Commissioner Harris walked forward, calm but cold. Actually, he said, raising his wrist, my body cam recorded the last 30 seconds. Travis went silent. The commissioner pressed a button on his chest. A clear, sharp recording played. Asterisk, go back to Africa. Shove sound. Jordan falling. Jordan groaning. Every head on the street turned slowly toward Travis. He looked like someone had pulled the ground out from under him. Chief Booker crossed his arms again. Explain yourself, he said. But Travis snapped. This is ridiculous. I'm the officer here. You all think he's some kind of angel? He refused my orders. He acted suspicious. Marshal Cross tilted his head. In what way? He looked out of place. Travis shouted, face red. He didn't belong. The marshal stared at him coldly. He didn't belong? In his own neighborhood? Where he owns his own house? Where his family lives? That's what you're saying. He looked wrong. Travis barked. That's all. The entire street fell silent. Everyone could see it now. There was no confusion, no misunderstanding, no bad angle or misread situation. This was racism. Plain, simple, ugly. Marshal Cross exhaled slowly. Deputy Travis, he said, you are hereby suspended pending investigation into racial harassment, unlawful detainment, and physical misconduct. Travis' face went white. You can't do that, he whispered. The marshal stepped closer. Yes, he said, I can. And I just did. Travis looked like he wanted to argue again. But then he saw Captain Sanders pull out her phone and begin downloading the neighbors' videos. He saw the commissioner watching him with disappointment. And he saw Jordan standing quietly, hurt but dignified. For the first time, Deputy Travis had no words, no power, no control, no badge that could protect him. Because now the truth was out, and something bigger than all of them was about to follow. Court, lawsuits, public outrage, and most importantly, consequences. But the big twist, the true instant justice, was still coming. Because there was something Travis didn't know yet, something nobody had told him, and when he found out, his entire world would collapse. The street felt frozen. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Even the wind seemed to stop, as if the whole world was waiting for what would happen next. Deputy Travis stood stiff, hands shaking. He looked from face to face, trying to see if anyone was on his side. Nobody was. Not a single neighbor. Not a single child. Not even a single officer in the SUVs. Everyone could see it now. There was no defending him. But what Travis didn't know, what he couldn't know, was that the worst part had not even reached him yet. Fire Marshal Julian Cross stepped closer to Jordan, lowering his voice so only Jordan and Chief Booker could hear. Lieutenant Miles, he said softly, before we go any further, I think it's time he knows. Jordan swallowed hard. Are you sure? The marshal nodded. He needs to hear it, and he needs to hear it now. Chief Booker placed a hand on Jordan's shoulder. It's your call. Jordan hesitated. He didn't like to brag. He didn't like attention. He didn't like to make anyone feel small, even when they deserved it. But today wasn't about pride. It wasn't about showing off. It was about truth, fairness, justice, and maybe it was about protecting the next person who looked like him. Jordan nodded slowly. Okay, he said. Tell him. Marshal Cross turned around sharply and faced Deputy Travis. Deputy, he said, you didn't just shove a firefighter. Travis blinked. You didn't just insult a neighbor. Travis's breathing quickened. You didn't just detain an innocent man. Travis swallowed. You shoved, insulted, and detained. The marshal paused for a long second. A national hero. The crowd gasped. Travis frowned. A what? He muttered. Marshal Cross spoke louder now, for the whole neighborhood to hear. Jordan Miles is the recipient of the State Valor Medal, the highest award for bravery. He earned it after saving a school bus full of children that rolled off an embankment 2 years ago. People gasped again. Even the neighbors who already loved Jordan had no idea he had done that. He broke his own ribs pulling 3 unconscious kids through a broken window before the bus exploded, Captain Sanders added. Doctors said he shouldn't have survived it. Jordan looked down, embarrassed. I was just doing my job, he murmured. But Marshal Cross wasn't finished. Oh, and one more thing, he said firmly. He is also the youngest firefighter in our state to reach the rank of lieutenant. Travis blinked fast, as if he didn't understand. But there was more. Much more. And last month, the marshal continued, Jordan Miles was approved for promotion to district fire captain. The neighbors cheered. Some clapped. One young boy shouted, Go, Mr. Jordan. But Jordan didn't smile. He wasn't here for applause. He was here for respect. Chief Booker stepped next to him, proudly. And if you had checked your emails instead of playing hero cops on quiet streets, the chief said coldly, you would know that every police department in the county was notified of a promotion this morning. Travis's mouth dropped open. "You're lying," he whispered. Deputy Commissioner Harris stepped forward. "No," he said simply. "He's not." He pulled out a tablet. On the screen was an official memo. Lieutenant Jordan Miles officially promoted to district fire captain. Signed, stamped, approved. Travis stared at the screen, eyes wide, but the marshal wasn't done. "In other words," he said slowly, "you didn't just harass a black man. You didn't just tell a hero to go back to Africa. You didn't just shove him without reason." Marshal Cross leaned forward, his voice a low thunder. "You physically assaulted the new district fire captain of this county." The street erupted. People whispered. People gasped. Some laughed in disbelief. But Travis? He looked like someone had pulled his soul out of his chest. I didn't know," he whispered weakly. Chief Booker snapped back. "That's the whole point, Travis. You never tried to know. You just saw a black man with groceries and decided he didn't belong." Travis shook his head, stepping backward. No, I didn't mean I wasn't." But the fire marshal raised a hand to silence him. "You meant every word." Travis's face turned pale. The commissioner stepped forward next. "As of this moment," he announced loudly, "you are under internal investigation for racism, misconduct, unlawful detainment, and physical abuse." Jordan didn't smile. He didn't gloat. He didn't say, "I told you so." He simply looked at Travis with tired eyes. "You could have asked my name," Jordan said quietly. "That's all you had to do." And for the first time, Deputy Travis felt something he had never felt before. Shame. Deep, heavy, paralyzing shame. But the worst part, the biggest consequence, hadn't even hit him yet, because something else was coming. Something big, something legal, something public, something that would make the entire state talk for months. And Jordan? He wasn't even the one who would start it. Jordan didn't sleep that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Officer Trent's face again, red, angry, and full of hate. He heard the words again and again, like a broken radio. "Go back to Africa." He had heard racism before, but never from a man wearing a badge who was supposed to protect him. But something deep inside him told him the fight wasn't over. Not even close. The next morning, Jordan drove to the community center where he volunteered every Saturday. Kids were already waiting outside, waving at him the second they saw his car. Coach Jordan, you're late." Little Maddie shouted, jumping up and down with her backpack swinging behind her. Jordan forced a smile. "Sorry, kiddo. Rough night." The kids didn't know what happened last night, but they could tell something was wrong. Jordan's eyes looked tired. His body looked heavy. Even his smile looked different. Inside the gym, he sat on the bleachers while the kids warmed up. He kept checking his phone every few minutes. He was waiting for the truth to come out, waiting for the world to see what Officer Trent had done, waiting for justice. Finally, at 10:41 a.m., his phone buzzed. Renee posted the video. Jordan clicked it immediately. The video started with the sound of footsteps and heavy breathing. Then the camera pointed at him standing by his car, hands up, voice calm. Everyone could hear everything. Officer Trent yelling. Officer Trent threatening. Officer Trent mocking. Officer Trent saying the words no one could ever take back. "Go back to Africa." Jordan's stomach tightened. Even though it was him in the video, watching it felt like watching someone else being hurt. Then he looked at the views. 112,000 views in 8 minutes. And the comments exploded. "Fire that cop. This is pure racism." He kept calm the whole time. "That officer is dangerous. We stand with Jordan." The truth was finally seen. But that wasn't the only thing happening. At 11:07 a.m., Jordan's phone rang. The caller ID made his heart stop for a second. Police Department, Chief Reynolds. Jordan swallowed hard and picked up. "Jordan, this is Chief Reynolds. We need you at the station. Right away." His voice was serious. Not angry, not dismissive. Serious. Jordan hesitated. "Am I in trouble?" "No, son," the chief said. "But Trent is..." Jordan closed his eyes in relief. Okay, I'll come. But when he turned around, the kids stood behind him in a small crowd, all looking worried. Coach, are you going to be okay? One of the boys asked softly. Jordan knelt and put a hand on his shoulder. Yeah, he said. Coach is going to be just fine, and I'll be back. Then he walked out of the gym. When Jordan pulled into the police station parking lot, he saw news vans everywhere, reporters pointing cameras, people holding signs, some angry, some emotional. The moment Jordan stepped out, the crowd erupted. There he is. That's him. Stay strong, brother. We support you. Jordan didn't expect this. He felt tears sting his eyes but forced himself to stay strong. 2 officers escorted him into the building. This time, no one harassed him. No one questioned him. No one even frowned at him. They all knew the truth now. Inside the chief's office, Chief Reynolds sat stiffly behind his desk. Jordan, I watched the footage myself. Every second of it. Jordan nodded slowly. And the chief let out a long breath. Trend is suspended. Effective immediately. Internal Affairs want a full investigation. And the mayor wants to speak with you later today. Jordan didn't know what to say. He wasn't expecting all this. He wasn't expecting things to move this fast. He wasn't expecting the whole city to react in one morning. He finally spoke. I didn't want this. I just wanted the truth out. And you got it, the chief said. But Trent crossed lines no officer should ever cross. And son, you handled it better than most people ever could. For the first time since last night, Jordan felt a little lighter. Just when he thought the worst was behind him, Chief Reynolds took out a folder and slid it across the desk. Jordan opened it. Inside were documents, reports, achievement certificates, and something that made the chief look almost embarrassed. Jordan, the chief whispered, why didn't you tell us about this? Jordan looked at the papers and blinked. They were official records from the military, his full service history, his medals, including the one he never bragged about, the Silver Star for saving 5 soldiers during an ambush overseas. Jordan looked up slowly. Because I didn't want to be treated special, he said quietly. I just wanted to live. The chief exhaled hard. Son, you're not just a hero. You're the kind of man this city should be proud of. And Trent, he should be terrified. Jordan stared at the chief, confused. Terrified? Why? Chief Reynolds leaned forward. Because people like you don't lose. Not today. Not anymore. Jordan took a deep breath. For the first time since last night, he believed him. The moment Jordan stepped outside the police station, the air felt different. The sun was brighter. The voices were louder. The world felt like it was paying attention now. Reporters rushed forward, microphones everywhere. Jordan, can we ask, do you plan to press charges? Was the officer racist before? What message do you have for the city? Jordan lifted his hands gently, signaling for calm. I'll talk soon, he said softly. Not yet. He wasn't ready to speak to the whole world. Not until everything was done. He walked to his car slowly, but before he could open the door, a black SUV pulled up fast. The back door swung open. Mayor Linda Hawkins stepped out, and she did not look happy. She walked straight to Jordan, shook his hand firmly, and said, loud enough for the cameras to hear, Jordan, I'm sorry for what happened to you, and I promise you that officer will face the consequences. People cheered. Jordan felt heat rise in his cheeks. He was not used to this kind of attention. Thank you, ma'am, he said quietly. But the mayor wasn't finished. We'll speak privately, she said. Follow me. Jordan nodded and slipped into the SUV. Inside the City Hall office, Jordan sat across from the mayor, Chief Reynolds, and 2 legal advisors. A thick silence filled the room. Then the mayor spoke. Jordan, that video has reached 24 million views in 6 hours. Jordan blinked. 24 million? Yes, she said. And people are angry. They want accountability. Chief Reynolds placed a file on the table. Officer Trent's record, he said. Jordan didn't touch it. He didn't need to. The chief opened it instead. There are 6 complaints of racial profiling, all ignored by his previous supervisor. Jordan swallowed. This is bigger than last night, the mayor added. And because of you, we now have proof. Jordan didn't say anything. He just looked at the table. He didn't want fame. He didn't want trouble. He just wanted fairness. And now, he was sitting in the middle of one of the biggest scandals the city had seen in years. Then the mayor asked, "Jordan, do you want to file a lawsuit?" Jordan looked up slowly. "I don't want money," he said simply. "I want change." The mayor leaned in. "What kind of change?" Jordan thought for a moment. He remembered the fear he felt last night, the anger, the pain. Then he spoke clearly. "I want training, real training. I want body cams always on. I want supervisors who listen. I want officers who see people, not color." The room fell silent. The mayor nodded slowly. "We can do that," she said. "But understand, this will shake the whole department." Jordan nodded. "Maybe it should." Just as the meeting was ending, a sudden knock hit the door. An officer stepped inside. "Chief, you need to see this." He handed him a tablet. When the chief saw the screen, his jaw dropped. "Jordan, you might want to watch this too." He turned the screen. Officer Trent was on camera, live on the news, yelling at reporters outside his home. "It wasn't racism," he screamed. "He talked back. He deserved it. I'm the real victim here. The city is soft." The crowd booed. Reporters tried to calm him down. Trent pushed one of them. Then, in front of everyone, he shouted, "I don't care if he's a hero. I don't care who he is. People like him." The mayor grabbed the tablet and slammed it down. "That's enough." Jordan felt his chest tighten. Chief Reynolds stood up so fast his chair slid back. "He's done," the chief said. "I'm firing him. Right now." Jordan let out a slow breath. Finally, instant justice. That evening, Jordan stood beside the mayor on the city hall steps. A huge crowd pressed against barricades. News cameras everywhere. The mayor stepped up to the microphone. "We are here today to announce that Officer Trent has been terminated, effective immediately." The crowd roared. Then she added, "And thanks to Jordan Carter, we are launching a citywide reform program to retrain every officer." His courage sparked change. More cheers. Then she stepped aside. "Jordan, would you like to say something?" Jordan wasn't a big speaker. He never wanted the spotlight. But tonight, he had something to say. He walked to the microphone. The whole city fell silent. He took a breath. "I didn't want trouble," he said softly. "I didn't want fame. I didn't want to fight anybody. I just wanted to be treated like a human." People nodded. Some cried. Some raised fists. "No one should be told to go back where they came from," he continued. "We all belong here. We all matter. And today we begin again." The crowd erupted. Jordan stepped back. For the first time since last night, he finally felt free. And somewhere across the city, Officer Trent sat alone in his house, watching the news, realizing his hate destroyed his own career. His words ended his own future. His victim became the city's hero. Instant karma. Instant justice. And Jordan? He walked off that stage with his head high, knowing he changed the city forever.